as I've been introduced, I am Jake Lodner. And yeah, I sort of got involved with the Israel advocacy movement on Yale's campus pretty much as soon as I got here. Um, they're just coming onto campus. There's already sort of an inherent like dialogue that exists about this conflict. That as soon as you enter this space, uh, you sort of have to, as a Jewish person, have to be prepared to engage with, for better or for worse. Um, and here at Yale, we we're in a bit of an interesting situation in comparison to a lot of other Ivy League institutions, um, in that, in opposition to Columbia University, who just brought passed a BDS resolution, or Brown University, who also just passed a BDS resolution, we haven't really had that sort of thing come up, partially because of the reason, or partially because of the way that the student government here is formatted, but also because of the way in which dialogue exists on campus, which is somewhat limited. Um, the way in which it has existed at Yale typically is that uh, there has never really been any sort of broad conversation about the conflict, except for sort of little spurt ups of like various aggression at any given point. Um, so, for example, like when I was a first year sophomore, we really didn't have a lot of dialogue around the issues. And then when I was a junior, there was a Students for Justice in Palestine chapter that was restarted here, and then that quickly started holding protests and doing the whole apartheid week thing in March, and protesting outside of the Hillel. And so for us here, there's sort of this reticence to engage with it at any given time, because I think from the Jewish community in general, because of this sort of fear that you know allowing this debate to open up and allowing this debate to be something that dominates the conversation will put us in a similar situation that our colleagues at Columbia and Brown and other Ivy League institutions have found themselves, in which the conversation begins to get dominated by these pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel groups. And so what I've been trying to do, and over the past couple of years, and what people I know have been trying to do, is sort of create a space to discuss the Israel-Palestine conflict that is not one that is tied to sort of um, these dichotomies of pro-Israel, anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, anti-Palestine, but rather one that will bring together students from both sides of the spectrum in a respectful manner to have these conversations about these really important conversations about the state of Israel, um, and the various political issues that the state faces, from at home and from abroad, in a respectful manner, and in a constructive manner. And this is basically what I try to do. So recently, we've started up a journal here at Yale called the Yale Israel Journal, where we have been publishing articles about uh, the Israel-Palestine conflict and its worldwide repercussions, and how it has been reflected on American college campuses, or in America as a whole, from sort of both sides of the spectrum. And what I sort of think about this is that we need to be changing the way we approach the entire conflict, or the entire discussion, instead of creating these dichotomies, we need to be practicing more of a sort of radical empathy in which we put ourselves in each other's shoes and try to understand each other's positions, and in doing so, create a healthy dialogue that actually, instead of you know instead of having shouting matches in the street like we see so often, actually creates possible solutions and paths forward. And so that's what I try to do here at Yale.